how are you? Here we are at Jalla Trappan, a social company here in Sweden that helps immigrant women to find a job in this zone, Rosengård in Malmö. So we are going to do an interview with the people responsible of this company and let's see what happens.
The women who have now been trained here and have employment from here, they are the one who teach new ones with the same background. And they are in real, you can touch them and the sign is there and she can tell others about what her journey had been from being unemployed, lack of everything, and now she's employed and she's also not only employed, she is the one who is educating new ones. This book is about Jalla Trappan, how we did it from the beginning. It's an inspiration book and it's a book about, it's also a handbook that you can use this. It's a very useful book. And this book has been sold to about 90 municipalities in Sweden. And it's about the vision and the leadership. And it's about the employers, and it's about the activities, and it's about the finance. So here we have the mentorship, as I told you about, and the books. Now I can write 3 there. We have catering, lunch service, cleaning, conference service, study visitor, guided tours, and we have also making marmalades and things like that. So this is the activities, the business activities that we have, and we have it now in different different places in Malmö. Yeah, this is about the introduction to professional working life process and what we are doing. We have something that we also call the equal home for Jalla. So we have our business, but we also will be a part of the society, to build up the society. So every day when the women leave here, because when they finish about 4 o'clock, 2 ladies who stay here when the rest goes 4 o'clock. And every day in the week, we have lonely coming refugees children coming here. We learn them to cook, to clean, to wash, and equal between man and woman. And every evening this is going on here where you are sitting, and they are cooking and they are cleaning and everything. And those boys and girls, they think this is their other home. They don't have homes, some of them. So this is one thing that we're doing, a part, that's not business, but it makes new work for our women. There is 4 double risk for them when they are pregnant and deliver their children, because of unknowledge about all the apparatus, the technique and the things like that. So they're nervous and they get scared. So what we're doing, we educated women from 8 different languages, so they can speak both Swedish and their own language, and supporting the woman before, under, and after the delivery. So Skanska now, in this municipality, they are very open mind for the civil sector. I belong to the civil sector. It's very open mind. They try to support us in different ways. And now, for example, if you say to polarization, it's Rosengård and it's Västra Hamnen. And they say to the companies, if you want to build here, you have to open up for one social enterprise. They asked us, and we said, okay. I can say there is a professor in natural economy, Ingvar Nilsson, and he had counted about money, how much we had saved for the society. Not those 9 years, because we counted that when it only was 4 years, and not with 36 employees that we are now. At that time we were 20. And he had counted that we have saved for the society about 300 million Swedish crowns, because now they're healthier, they have a tax income, they pay tax income, and of course for the future the children, because they now support their children. So we always try to sit down and talk with each other, have a dialogue. So here is what we are dealing with at Jalla Trappan. Thank you.
Which is the thing that you think it makes Jalla Trappan different from the other social enterprises?
That it's because that we have 3 different activities. So if the soil from the beginning, it was just minus 2-3 years from the beginning, but we still had it, even if it was only 50% ones working there. But we thought the time will come. And we were right. And then we have the cleaning and conference service. That was our backbone, economical, when we started, because we have agreement from 1 year, so we knew exactly what money will come in. And then we have been very successful with our storytelling, and we have been very successful with the media. I always say no one should leave Jalla Trappan without having some good words coming to them every day. Yeah. So this is people who are, the self-confidence is so low, so we really have to be very generous about, if it's honest, to support every little success. Saina and Fatma and others, they step up. They step up and take more and more responsibility, and they are now the leader for new ones, but in their branch, so to say. So it's the mix. It's the mix about different kind of knowledge, I think.
Good answer.
Okay, thanks so much. Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much, Salem and Gernot, that you provided the time for such an interview. We are very happy that we can do this with you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. So the first question to you would be, can you please shortly present yourself and the Conflict Food Company? So what are your names? But I already mentioned the names, yeah. But what is the company doing actually?
Yeah, my name is Salem. I'm the co-founder of Conflict Food, and this is...
I'm Gernot, also the co-founder of Conflict Food.
Yeah, and we've started Conflict Food 2015. We've been to Afghanistan. We've visited an NGO project. Mm-hmm. And then we've heard from an independent women collective, which made the shift from opium to saffron. And that sounds very interesting to us, that we've decided, okay, let's go to these women and... let's see what they are doing, independent and self-structured. That was like a newsflash for us. So, mm-hmm. And then we went to Herat, the western part of the country, and then we visited these women. And it was like so interesting for us to see like these strong, proud women doing this work, make the shift from opium to saffron and release from these mafia structures. And that we decided, okay, let's buy the saffron and tell their story through the saffron here in Germany, in Berlin. And that was like the beginning of Conflict Food.
And
right?
Since then we do what Conflict Food does. We engage in fair and direct trade with farmers in conflict regions.
Yeah. So the idea is to strengthen the local structures in these countries. Like now it's Afghanistan, it's Myanmar, it's Palestine. And on one hand, showing ways of poverty and fighting the causes of light. And here, through our products, the customers and clients, we will give them a lot of information about these countries, because there's like very one side these informations we have. It's always about war and conflicts and Taliban and terrorism, but there's also culture and history and daily life. And this is what Conflict Food is transporting, to give them another picture besides this crisis image.
Perfect. Very nice answer to this question. Very long answer to this question.
Sorry.
So, yeah, we go on directly. Could you indicate the steps you had to go through until you had your first sale with your product? So, how was the process from the first day of having the idea till the first sale of the product? Can you like shortly just draft the process without being too detailed, because that would take too much time, obviously?
Well, I think the clue was to find a product that is defining the identity of the farmers. That makes it quite easy, because as soon as there is a product that talks about identity or pride, it's easy to sell it, because the farmers are willing to share their ideas and their product with us. And that was the case with the Afghan saffron in the beginning. We bought it fair and direct from the farmers at that point, and we did not even know if there is a market for that here.
Okay.
We are not. We had a different field of work at that point, so we came with a lot of saffron in our hands, and thought, okay, if nobody's gonna buy that here, we're gonna have a lot of Christmas presents for the next couple of years for our friends and family. But it turns out people loved the product, people loved the story behind it.
The concept, and then we were here in the Social Impact Lab, and then we had a lot of workshops and coachings for social entrepreneurship. And then we decided, okay, there is a market for our idea. Let's skip our jobs and let's make it like 100%. And then we contacted graphic designers, web designers, and product designers, and then we created a product. And within 6 months,
6 months, okay.
we've had the product.
Market
This
product.
okay, this is a T now, but yeah. And then we've had our market entry was 6 months after our visit in Afghanistan.
Okay,
Yeah.
impressive.
We have to
Nice.
be quick.
Perfect. And what do you think, actually, there are many, fair trade companies on the market, but what do you think is special in your company, or what makes your company special compared to other fair trade?
There are many fair trade products that's existing, that's right, but there is like 0 products from Afghanistan, for example. There is 0 products from the northern part of Myanmar. There is hardly any products from Palestine existing right now. So we definitely focus on those regions that are having political crisis or even war going on. This is what makes Conflict Food unique.
And educational part of our product.
Right.
So we have a newspaper inside, we have information cards, recipe cards. So to kind of teach the people, and so they get more, not only just a good product, it's also kind of information.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Tania, a participant of Redes project from Madrid, Spain. From this project, I want to highlight the opportunity to exchange our knowledge and culture while improving skills and creating a network between us. As a result of this project, I can say how different is the concept of social economy in each participant country. We have mainly known companies whose social object were related with activities at the service of the society and not-profit companies. This perception differs from the one that we have in countries like Spain or Germany. Concretely, in Spain, social economy is regulated by Law 5/2011 of 29th March. In the law, we find a definition of social economy: set of economic and business activities carried out in the private sphere by those entities that, in accordance with the following principles, pursue the general economic or social interest or both. Between these principles we can find: first, people come first; second, promotion of internal solidarity and with society, facilitating equal opportunities and conciliation. In addition, this law says that the following entities are part of the social economy: cooperatives, special employee centers, insertion companies, and one exclusive from Spain, labor enterprises. In labor enterprises, the capital belongs mainly to the workers and are constituted with at least 2 partners and by the same procedures of any mercantile enterprise. With me is Roberto, a project participant who is also a partner of a labor enterprise, Cerdomas. Hi, Roberto.
Hi, Tania.
Why did you choose this legal form, and what is the most positive thing about labor enterprises?
We choose to be a labor enterprise for social authorities advantage, access to a local, regional and state that other mercantile enterprise can't. The partners can use the employment benefit for the start of the activity. The partners are in the general social security system and nowadays in freelance it would be normal. We are enterprise, management and participate by workers. We are entrepreneurs and workers at the same time. The partners of Cerdomas are my sister and me, 2 young entrepreneurs with the help of my father. We are located in Madrid in an office within a business center. Thanks to this and with the help of ASALMA and Erasmus project, we are now a network with our social economic companies like us.
What is your activity and who are your clients?
Our activity born from the needs that must be covered in homes. On the one, domestic services as cleaning, cooking or ironing, and on the other, expert services for the care of the children and elderly. I can be a service of punctual need or a continuous service. We are a total 70 workers. Our clients are both private clients, families and enterprise, and public clients, institutions, associations, health centers, hospitals, day centers, residents of 3 age, supervised at homes. As good practices is in our company, we highlight the consideration of work and family life of workers and improve the quality life.
José Antonio, how are you?
Hi, Roberto. Fine, thank you. We are in Cerdomas, and we have talked with the other partners of Cerdomas, Patricia. Hi, Patricia.
Hi,
Good morning. One question. How do you make this good practice possible in your enterprise?
At Cerdomas, we have flexible working hours so that, for example, workers who are mothers have a preference for attending their children of school age. Also, in our labor enterprise, we are aware about the employability of women over 55 years old, having around 40%. In the case of immigrant women, this practice allows them to access a decent pension after a few years in our country.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Bye.
Bye, José Antonio.
Thank you, Roberto. Bye.
Bye.
Hi Massimo, thank you for this interview. First question, what is your story and your background before I start to work for NCA?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me, for giving me the chance to have this interview. So, my background, I arrived here in Brussels 4 years ago, and I had studied European economy and business law, so I thought that moving to Brussels was the place to be, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
I ended up working with NC almost by chance, because I didn't know anything about social enterprises, even though I knew about the issues. And so I simply applied for this position as acting director, because I'm replacing the director of NC. I ended up there, and I really enjoy it.
Okay, and you like it? I mean, the social field. You think you're into this kind of field, and so if you want to tell more about NCA and which is the mission and the goals you want to achieve.
Okay. I really enjoy, working in this domain, because as I said, even though I was not aware exactly of what social enterprises were, and in the case of ENSI, and I will talk later about work integration social enterprises, I had the social issues that are tackled by those enterprises at heart. So I really enjoy working with ENSI to advance this agenda, let's say. What about ENSI? ENSI was founded in 2001, and it is called, of course, the European Network of Social Integration Enterprises. So, as the name says, ENSI represents the interests of work integration social enterprises in Europe. We represent 29 networks, because we are a federation of federations, of national federations. So 29 networks from 23 different states. And yeah, I think we advocate for the advancement of this field, so working with social enterprises within EU agenda.
And so what is the mission about ENSI?
Okay, before, if I have to talk about the mission, I have to talk about work integration social enterprise.
Okay, so let's go with the other question. You told us there are a lot of network around yours and a lot of members, I think. So what about members? Which are the specific members around your network, and how the members can be involved in your network?
Okay. So, as I said, ENSI is a federation of federations. So, at the bottom of the pyramid, there are work integration social enterprises, which are the social enterprises that are active in the integration of people that are furthest from the labor market because of different causes, and to integrate them within the labor market through labor activity, let's say. So, we are not in direct contact with WISES, but we are in contact with national federations when possible. There are not always national federations of this kind of enterprises. So the agenda is exactly to advocate at European level for a better EU environment for this kind of enterprises, and to help our members to transpose within national legislation EU law which is relevant for them. And then thirdly, which is equally important, we run projects in order, for instance, to tackle the shortage, for instance, in skills of work integration social enterprises, to make them more competitive, for instance.
Okay, and so as network, what do you think is your strength, and how do you differentiate your network amongst the others?
Okay, I think our strength is a narrow focus on this kind of enterprises. That is to say, social economy is kind of a wide sector, very, let's say, multifaceted sector. Therefore, since we have this narrow focus on work integration social enterprises, we are able to tackle the kind of policies and issues that really interest this kind of sector. So I would say that the narrow focus on WISES is one of our most important strengths.
Okay, and I read that ENSI actually was born in Bruges, and then so why did you choose to have your seat in Brussels?
Okay.
How Brussels can make your networks more strong?
Okay, I have to say that actually ENSI was born following kind of an acknowledgement of the importance of being within the EU agenda. That is to say, at that time, social economy was not as strong as it is now. So we understood the importance of setting the agenda at EU level. So it is kind of straightforward. The next step, that is to say, to be based in Brussels in order to strengthen our relationship with EU institutions and other EU-wide stakeholders.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about your project? Can you tell us one example of one of best practice projects you've done with your members?
We run different projects at a time, but I think one that could be of interest recently, let's say, it is a project called InnoWISES, which aims at tackling the digital shortcomings that are present in many WISEs throughout Europe. So in order to help them to be more digitally advanced, and so to create content and a platform in order to find softwares and MOOCs, so online courses, in order to tackle this shortcoming. This project is financed by the Interreg program, Central Europe. We are within the project because we are, of course, outside Central Europe, but we are a Europe-wide network, so we actually are in charge of the dissemination. But this might be one project that is really interesting for WISEs, that is to say for enterprises, in order for them to be more competitive.
And I'm curious, you have any idea about the social impact that this project can have?
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of difficult.
But
I
know that social impact is kind of the buzzword now, and then it is even hard to actually to tell what is impact, what is outcome.
For sure.
Measuring social impact in this field is pretty difficult. So apart from the outcome per se, it is not easy to foresee how this kind of tools.
It's not your core business.
Will have an impact.
Yeah.
And it is not our core business in the sense we are discussing on this topic because it is really important in order to attract funds. But I couldn't say now what would the impact be. I know it would be beneficial for beneficiaries.
But you can measure now.
I can't measure it now.
Okay.
This is the problem.
Okay, thank you. And I mean, in order to participate to this project, or maybe as individual into the social field, interested in social field, or social entrepreneurs, you know, which kind of skills let's see, we have to have in order to apply or
for this project.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what it is important, if it is a transnational project, you need to have kind of a transnational dimension. So in order to apply for this kind of projects, I would recommend, and I know it is even for our interest, to be part of a federation. That is to say, if you to find an organization that would have common interests, in order to join the organization or the federation that would have this kind of transnational approach. Then, of course, in projects we even cooperate with entrepreneurs. So maybe one premise would be to be a social entrepreneur.
Okay.
And being interested in acquiring skills and best practice from abroad. It is not always possible to transpose best practice from one country to another, but this is the right approach. But for this kind of projects, which are always transnational, you need to have this kind of transnational reach. It is not always easy. This is the reason why I'm suggesting to be part of a wider national or regional network.
Okay, and just last question. Do you have maybe any suggestion for in order to work in this field, which is really wide, and the difficult to work?
I can talk about work integration social enterprises because then it would be a too wide a discourse to talk about social economy in general.
Indeed.
I would say that it is a social entrepreneur that would like to run a work integration social enterprises wouldn't do that for financial gain. That is to say, it's not the shortcut to be reached. One of the drives is to build a more inclusive society. It sounds kind of naive, but it is somehow in order to redefine the rules of business. Because up to now, the mantra was that the business of enterprises was just business. They didn't have any, let's say, social consequence in their actions. But since we know that enterprises have a stake in society and actually contribute to shape society, first of all, there should be this drive of changing the things to make them different as they are now. And then, of course, you have to be entrepreneurial. That is to say, the fact that you have a social goal is not enough. You need to have entrepreneurial skills in order to run a real enterprise with different goals, but a real enterprise.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having part of this RADES European project. NC involved in this project, I think it's really important. And so thank you a lot. And see you for the next meeting.
Buonasera, benvenuti da Assurd,
una delle cooperative sociali più riuscite del Sud Italia.
Vi presento Dino e Paolo, i soci fondatori.
Chiamata. Che mi chiami?
Come è nata l'idea del tuo business?
Passo la palla a Paolo e in modo molto semplice, il desiderio di trovare lavoro e di rimanere in questa terra. Quindi è stato semplicemente questo che ci ha mosso a creare questo locale.
Nasce bene e spero di stare qua.
Qual è stata la vostra forza trainante per diventare imprenditori?
Prima di fare questo lavoro lavoravo come educatore con i ragazzi con sindrome di Down e all'interno dell'Associazione Italiana Persone Down, da cui poi nasce l'esperienza, abbiamo visto come era possibile creare un locale e mettere alla propria ragazzi. Quindi Paolo ha la dimostrazione che la cosa può funzionare e per molte cose è fatto da traino proprio alla riuscita di questa esperienza.
Come costruite una base di clienti di successo?
Fin dall'inizio abbiamo puntato sempre ad offrire prodotti di qualità, locali. Da un paio d'anni siamo stati riconosciuti anche da Campagna Amica, che è l'associazione di Coldiretti, che è proprio per la tutela dei prodotti a chilometro zero. Quindi sicuramente quello che apprezza di più la gente è ciò che proponiamo. I nostri panini nella loro semplicità sono comunque fatti con farina locale, una lunga lievitazione, si possono farcire con prodotti tutti locali, quindi questa cosa qua ha funzionato fin dall'inizio e continua a fare questa differenza.
Quale politica hai gestito il successo?
Come dicevo, l'obiettivo non è stato mai avere successo, ma crearsi un lavoro, quindi il modo migliore per portare avanti la cosa è continuare a lavorare. E porsi man mano degli obiettivi sempre diversi e nuovi che siano stimolanti anche per portare avanti le attività.
E forse che vedi qualcosa che cambieresti?
La compagine con cui abbiamo iniziato l'attività era diversa, c'erano altri due soci e poi lavorare insieme fianco a fianco con i ritmi stressanti che ti costringe poi ad avere un lavoro come quello di gestione di un pub rende complicate le cose, no? Quindi abbiamo cambiato compagine associativa, sono subentrati nuovi soci. Su questo ad esempio abbiamo migliorato tantissimo il locale da quando è entrato a far parte in modo stabile un cuoco che lavora con noi. Precedentemente c'era un ragazzo che con poca esperienza ma si era lanciato a fare questa attività. Adesso c'è una scoperta ogni giorno, quindi non si finisce mai di imparare, per fortuna, ed è sempre stimolante.
Cosa avresti fatto diversamente?
Allora, cosa avrei fatto diversamente o cosa vorrei fare anche, perché poi alla fine siamo ancora in corso l'attività, quindi ancora possiamo fare qualcosa di diverso. E niente, dare l'opportunità a più ragazzi di lavorare, cioè per fortuna Paolo è totalmente autonomo, così come l'altra ragazza che lavora con me a pranzo. Paolo è di un paese vicino Potenza, non è di Potenza, finisce alle 10 di lavorare, va a prendere l'autobus da solo, torna a casa, ha la sua vita in totale autonomia. Non tutti i ragazzi purtroppo hanno questa fortuna, diciamo così, o sono educati all'autonomia.
Come puoi minimizzare gli imprevisti?
Posso dire una banalità, ma il rischio fa parte dell'impresa, quindi è proprio complicato quindi cercare di minimizzare gli imprevisti, soprattutto quando è un'attività al pubblico è tutto un'incognita.
Good, great. Is it?
Yeah, it's.
Okay, so hi, thank you for doing this with us. I'm going to ask you, what was your idea behind your project, and what is it all about?
Hello Marta, thank you for having this interview with me and the interest you have in the project Lisboa Limpa. We started developing activities for children with the main focus on reduce waste, also combater o desperdício, so we call it in Portuguese. So the focus on the waste, we found out about the disposable cups who are all around in Lisbon, and they are a huge plague, and no one is aware of this, what you use for 5 minutes and you throw it away, and where does it end up and where does it go. So we developed this deposit system where you can use a reusable cup, you pay a deposit and you can bring it back in all our partners and you receive your Eurobags. Like the deposit system works with every item, also with a cup more.
So it works both with restaurants and bars and other types of places like that?
We work, in the first place we worked with bars, restaurants. Now we try to go to coffees as well, because the coffee to go in the end has a much worse impact on the environment than the disposable plastic cup, because it's paper and plastic mixed. Then you have the lid made of plastic. So we try to get, we can work with all different kind of bars or restaurants, places who sell drinks, because we don't have a brand behind us where we only can work with. Like we work with a Veggie Wave, which is they only do sumos, juices. So for us, we can work with everyone.
So if I was a restaurant trying to start a partnership with you, how would that work?
There are many ways how we can work together. Either we contact you because we go to your place, or we find you through social networks, or you find us because you heard about us. So the first contact, I would say, is either we go there or you write us an email via Instagram, Facebook, or email. And then most of the times we go to the bar because it's a young project which needs a lot of explanations. We need to explain how it works. We tell the amount of cups, because sometimes the bars think, oh, we need 5,000 cups a weekend. But no, you don't, because people bring back the cup because they want to have the euro, so you use much less than you in the end think you need. After these explanations, we sometimes start with a test phase, but we try to finish now the test phase because our test phase is already done. And we meet you, and if we agree on an amount of cups, we bring you the cups on the agreed day, and then we start the project. We make pictures of your place, and you start using our cups, explain to people.
So what do you find are the biggest difficulties in implementing this project in Portugal?
The difficulties, they changed a bit. In the beginning it was beginning was in May 2018. No, I started before talking to the bars and restaurants, but there it was the problem that no one wanted it. No one, then I have to wash it, I have to charge €1, then I get confused. So no one really wanted it, and the first 5 bars were the hardest ever. So now the City Hall implemented a law. We hope badly it's coming and implemented well. Well, I'm not going to go in that. Sorry. Yes, difficult. People still don't want it, but they are, because of the City Hall's law, they are kind of obligated to do it from January on. So now they have to do it. But still, we have now Sagres and Superboc who didn't want to work with us. We talked to them a long time ago. So we don't see them as competitors, but we see them a bit because they do something completely different. They sell cups, we don't sell the cups. I think maybe I should have said that with how we get the contact. So they sell cups and they leave it to the bar how they treat them. So they can sell them for 50 cents. And this is now a problem we have because if you sell the cups, you make a lot of money and you don't have to be part of the system. So that's a difficulty we have now, and of course Sagres and Superboc reach their clients much easier than we do. What we are hoping, and we tried last year, is with Sumol Compal, Tagus, Estrela. Let's see, we have to contact them again, make some pressure. They didn't seem very happy about our ideas, but let's see.
Do you think that if you can make those contacts, that should become financially sustainable? If you do them?
The more bars we have, the idea behind the project was that one bar pays little and many bars pay something. So with 20, 50, 100 bars we cannot do anything, but if we get like 500, it's already the start to go in the direction of sustainability.
Thank you. I'd just like to ask another question. Do you have any type of tips that you can give to other people that are trying to come up with these social projects or even social businesses?
Well, what for me was it's always good you need a lot of time in the beginning. It's very time consuming, and especially when it's something what is not used in your country or in your city, you have to talk a lot, you have to explain a lot. You get very frustrated. So an advice is like, have enough time and love the project and don't get frustrated if it doesn't work. Also, like Lisboa Lipa the cups, we have them but since more than a year now, but still I wouldn't say it worked. So it's a long process. You have to be very I don't know what, persistent and patient also. Patient and stuff, I would say.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you so much for
Marta.
participating.
Τι είναι η μικρή φρύδα εκτός από τη σεφ? Είναι μια ιδέα. Ένα γαλλικό καφέ. Το οποίο ξεκίνησε μια δράση πάντων με βάση τον καφέ και αυτό που θέλουμε να κάνουμε καλά. Οπότε την γύρω της σεφ έχουμε και διάφορες δραστηριότητες, κοινωνικούς χαρακτήρα και όχι μόνο.
Τι είναι αυτό που διαφέρει από άλλα σεφ στην Αθηνία?
Από άλλα κονσέπτ.
Κάτι το ιδιαίτερο που έχετε εσείς?
Δεν ξέρω αν έχουμε κάτι το ιδιαίτερο, σίγουρα είναι οι δράσεις που κάνουμε. Φαντάζομαι ότι κάθε κονσέπτ κάνει διάφορες δράσεις. Εμείς κινούμαστε κυρίως στις τέχνες, φιλοξενούμε διάφορες εκθέσεις, είμαστε διοργανωτές σε συνεργασία με χορό, με εκθεσιακό χώρο που είναι στο κέντρο. Κάνουμε όσο πιο πολλές πράσινες δράσεις μπορούμε. Είμαστε στο Φέρε το ποτήρι σου, μια δράση της Greenpeace για λιγότερο πλαστικό. Φέρε το ποτήρι σου, παίρνεις έτοιμο στον καφέ σου και αυτό δουλεύει πάρα πολύ καλά. Είμαστε ρηφίλοι στην Ερυσό, φέρνεις το μπουκάλι σου, συντονίζουμε νερό, επίσης για λιγότερο πλαστικό. Κάνουμε εκδρομές στη φύση με οδηγούς. Έχουμε κάνει μια εκδρομή στον Όριο με 2 οδηγούς, οπότε ο κόσμος έχει κοντά στη φύση, μάθει πράγματα για το κοινό, για τα φυτά. Κάνουμε ένα σεμινάριο κλωστοϊφαντουργία στην Ήπειρο, μια μικρή εκδρομή με λίγους φίλους, πολύ λίγους φίλους στη Σπίτα.
όπου μάθαμε, κάναμε ένα σεμινάριο αργαλείου και γενικώς προσπαθούμε όσο μπορούμε να κάνουμε πράγματα τα οποία είναι, ας πούμε, τα μεσησίτια, τα πλησίτια. Έχουμε κάνει μια γνωριμία με το ρόζι. Ήρθαν κάποιοι οι οποίοι μας εργάζονται το ρόζι και έμαθε ο κόσμος και έδωσε το ρόζι, ποιες είναι οι ενεργητικές ιδιότητες. Με τα καφές. Επίσης προσπαθούμε οι τιμές μας να είναι πολύ χαμηλές, γιατί αυτό είναι στο εξαιρετικό, για να μπορεί ο κόσμος να έρθει, όλος ο κόσμος να έρθει και να μπορεί πέρα να κάνει καφέ, να πάει και ένα γλυκό, να φάει ένα σάντουιτς, να είναι λίγο πιο άνετος, να πιει ένα καφέ και να κάνει μια μπύρα, ας πούμε, να είναι τιμές μας χαμηλά. Τώρα αφορά το κομμάτι, ας πούμε, της κοινωνικής αλληλεγγύης, αυτό είμαστε. Μπορούμε να τυπώσει καταλόγους σύσταση να πρέπει για να μπορούμε να εξυπηρετήσουμε τυφλούς και επίσης ένα από τα μέλη μας, η Δέσποινα, μαθαίνει την νοηματική γλώσσα για να μπορούμε να εξυπηρετήσουμε και...
Άρα εσείς είστε να φανταστώ πόσο μέλη?
Είμαστε 5.
Είστε δηλαδή όλες τις γυναίκες?
Είμαστε 4 γυναίκες και ένας άντρας.
Άρα έχουμε πρόβλημα.
Τα μέλη που δουλεύουν εδώ. Οι άλλοι δύο είναι συνεργάτες που βοηθάνε αλλιώς διαφορετικά. Το ένα το μέρος ασχολείται πάρα πολύ με το τι όσον αφορά τα καταστατικά που τα πρακτικά που γίνονται, τις συμβουλεύσεις, όλα αυτά, γιατί αυτό είναι και πράγμα που είναι είναι ότι όλα αυτά. Οτιδήποτε κάνεις, δηλαδή είμαστε συνεργάτες, να ψηφίζετε από όλους, να συζητάσετε τα πρακτικά και μετά να εγκολυστεί τη διαδικασία.
Ήταν με συνέλευση.
Τα μελλοντικά μας σχέδια. Τα μελλοντικά μας σχέδια, η μικρή Φρύδα να είναι λίγο πιο μεγάλη. Έχουμε πάρει και το διπλανό μαγαζί και θέλουμε να μεγαλώσουμε λίγο, γιατί είμαστε πολύ μικρή Φρύδα. Και το χειμώνα, ειδικά που δεν έχουμε τραπεζάκια έξω, ο κόσμος θέλει να έρθει, δεν μπορεί, δηλαδή έρχεται και φεύγει. Οπότε προκειμένου να εξυπηρετήσουμε περισσότερο κόσμο και να κάνουμε και περισσότερα πράγματα στον χώρο μας, γιατί όλες αυτές τις δράσεις τώρα, τις περισσότερες τις κάνουμε σε άλλους χώρους που συνεργαζόμαστε. Αν μεγαλώσουμε, θα έχουμε δυνατότητα να κάνουμε πολλά πράγματα εδώ, όπως παρουσιάσει το βιβλίο που είναι στα άμεσα σχέδιά μας. Τι άλλο έχουμε σκοπό να κάνουμε? Και ανταποκρίνεται ο κόσμος, ό,τι κάνουμε ανταποκρίνεται.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Καλή συνέχεια.